Hey guys, Miss White here from Michigan again. All right, I basically live here now. This video is going to specifically talk about the African theater during World War II. This is a theater of the war that is lesser known. It gets overshadowed by certain battles in Europe and, of course, fighting off the Nazis like D-Day and Stalingrad. And it also gets overshadowed by the Pacific theater. Things like Pearl Harbor and Okinawa, and, of course, the Manhattan Project. So we're briefly going to talk about it. Not to be that person, but I'm kind of going to overshadow it myself as well, because it didn't last very long, as we will see here. So this is what's starting out our worksheet this week, is the African campaign. Right, here's the North African campaign. That is the only thing I am going to focus on because, as you can see there from the very first bullet point, it lasted 3 years. Right, from June of 1940 until May of 1943. And this is basically Italy starting the issue. Now, it ended in 1943 because also Benito Mussolini was forced out of power in 1943 in Italy as well. And he was shot and killed later on, but we'll get to that later. Right? So it only lasted 3 years. Remember, Mussolini invaded Abyssinia, modern day Ethiopia, back in the 1930s, 1935 to be more specific. The League of Nations chose to do nothing about it, right? And so Mussolini was successful in invading Ethiopia. Right? So naturally, war broke out in Europe thanks to Hitler invading Poland in 1939, and Mussolini took it upon himself, well, what the hey, Hitler, you got Europe, right? And so he headed to a different continent to let Hitler kind of do his thing in Europe. And so Mussolini focused most of his attention, and the Italian military focused most of their attention in Africa. All right. I do need you to know that this war did affect most of the continent of Africa. All right. And I am not doing it as much of a service, just because my specialty was Eastern Europe for World War II. All right. So anyway, North African campaign, it was fought in, you guessed it, North Africa. All right. Right. So we got Egypt, we got Libya, we got Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia. Whoa. Okay. Tunisia. Right. Sure. Say it fast and with confidence. People will believe you. Anyway, this is Italy and Germany versus the Allied powers. Now, I say the Allied powers here, right? And we're thinking, oh, America, France, England, Russia, yay, it was a party. No, it wasn't. It was mostly the British Empire. Now, I say British Empire because it wasn't just the country of England. During this exact same time, we have the Battle of Britain happening. So a lot of people in England were literally stuck there because of the whole bombing campaign thing. Shocking, airspace not safe, so people weren't traveling outside of England. So when I say British Empire, I'm talking mostly Australians, Canadians. We did have some people from England itself, also Scotland, Ireland, Wales, India, basically every place that ever was conquered by England, which, as we learned earlier in the school year, it was basically half the planet. So anyway, that's what happened there. All right. Ooh, wow, a map. Wow, how fun. Okay. I thought this picture was cool because it's just a plane flying over the Great Pyramids, which you don't really see all too often, like a warplane, it's kind of cool. Anyway, I digress. The main area of focus and a focus on our benchmark when we have it eventually is this guy right here for an essay question. We got Erwin Rommel. He was a Nazi general. Now, I say it with a smile on my face, one, because I'm kind of weird, and two, in terms of Nazis, this guy wasn't a bad guy. Now follow me on this because I know how that sounds, right? Here's this teacher saying how this Nazi guy was not that bad. Follow me on this, all right? He was known as the Desert Fox because of his swift efforts in North Africa, meaning he was able... Italy was basically stuck. Italy sucks at fighting wars, people. There's a reason why in both World War I and II, they switched sides halfway through. They suck at fighting wars. And I always give France a hard time, but Italy was worse, right? And I say that, Italy was worse at fighting wars. So Hitler had to come in and fight in Africa as well. So this is kind of laying out the groundwork here, right? Hitler is fighting in Europe and now Africa. Anyway, Erwin Rommel, there is a myth surrounding him saying that he wasn't a bad guy, that he was more of a victim of the Third Reich, of the Nazi government, rather than a participant in it. He was apolitical, which means he doesn't have any interest in politics. He wasn't very allegiant to the Nazi government. And for Hitler, it's like, if you're not completely allegiant to me, Who are you allegiant to? Right. And this guy was just like, I don't care about politics, man. Like, vote however you want for whomever you want. Yay, you. And he was also supposedly involved in an assassination plot against Hitler. Yes, there were a crap ton of assassination plots on Hitler because it's Hitler. He sucked. They knew it back then. We know it now. So the Nazi government found him in Africa and gave him the choice. You either face a prison sentence and we will torture you to death, or you kill yourself. Well, as we'll find out, as Hitler did too in the European theater, Rommel decided to just kill himself and take his own life instead of facing that defeat, right? So he died in 1944, and there is a picture of Rommel, and this ends the North African campaign. Thanks for watching. Watch my next video for the Pacific.